So now we've come to our second part of our lesson, and this is actually using calculations to answer Venn diagram questions. So if I give you an example, we have probability of A equals 0.4, probability of B equals 0.25, and probability of A and B equals 0.15. And what I want us to do together is, from that information, draw a Venn diagram. And once a Venn diagram is drawn, then we can answer some questions together based upon that information. So, this is a simple Venn with two variables, A and B. So I'll have A and B represented like that. Now, if you look at this, the first thing you should really go for is 0.15. This is the intersection A and B, and this will be represented here, 0.15. Now, we know that all of A is 0.4. Well, at the moment, part of A is 0.15, so to make up the default, the leftover, 0.4, take away 0.15, we're left with 0.25. Likewise, all of B is 0.25. Well, I've got 0.15 so far, so to make up the rest, we have a 0.1 or 0.10. Now, as you know from GCSE, a Venn diagram is not complete until you've found the other number here. So if you add these up, you get 0.25, 0.15, which is 0.4. Add the 0.1 is 0.5, so we're left with a 0.5. So now we're going to answer some questions. We're going to find probability of A dash and B. Now, what does that mean? Well, think about what we did earlier. A dash and B means I'm allowed to be in B, which is these two, but unfortunately, A has kicked me out. A dash means I'm not allowed to touch A. So the only value I can have is 0.10. Our next question would be find probability of A, U, B dash. Now let's think about what we learnt. A, U, B dash. I would go straight for the ticks. A, U, B dash. Well, A means I can have these two. Or B dash means I can have anything outside B, which must be this one here. Now, A, U, B dash would mean 0.25, the 0.15, and the 0.5 all added up. What you can't do is involve the 0.10. In this case, you naturally get 0.9. So now our last part of this calculation is to look at the addition rule. The addition rule is crucial in year 13, and it's there to use to assist A union B. Now, all this time we've been using Venn diagrams to work out AUB, but sometimes you're forced to work out the addition rule, or using the addition rule, using non-Venn, and just using the values that you have in front of you. Now, what you have in front of you is the formula AUB, which is the addition rule. So when you see a calculation or a bit of work that you need to use where AUB is there as a notation, we have to apply this formula. So we get the probability of A, we add it to the probability of B, and then we minus probability of A and B. Now remember from the Venn diagram, A and B is the value in the intersection between the two rings. So we're going to just use that. I'm going to highlight that. It's a formula that you would need to know. So what we're going to do, we're going to go straight to our first example. And our first question is, and we're going to do this together, is we need to draw a Venn. But unlike the last example, my information does not have A and B. Now, when you draw a Venn, the first thing you know is to try and go for the central number and then work from the middle outwards. But I have no A and B. So let's just draw that first. Let's draw the diagram and see what we can do to assist us in order to get A and B. So we've got our two variables A and B. We know that probability of A is 0.35. So this adds up to 0.35. This adds up to 0.4, but we have no central number. We have A, U, B. And then are we stuck? And if we're stuck, what do we do? So that's when we apply the addition rule. Now, a bit of rearranging is involved. We have probability of A, which is there. We have probability of B, which is there. And we have AUB, which is there. So if we rearranged it to make A and B the subject, it's quite clear that probability of A and B would be probability of A plus probability of B minus the probability of AUB. In other words, if you put these numbers in, we have 0.35, add 0.4, which is 0.75, so 0.35, add 0.4, minus AUB, which is 0.45, and when you work that out, we get 0.3. And that 0.3 would then be inserted in the middle here. Now, you know, once you've got the central value here, you can then work from the middle, working out. So if that's 0.3, and we know that all of A was 0.35, this means the leftover must be 0.05. Likewise, all of B was 0.4. Well, if I've got 0.3 as part of it, then I have 0.1. And if you add these together, we get 0.4, add 0.05, we had 0.45. So our leftover must be 0.55. So now that we've finished and completed this Venn diagram, we're now going to answer some questions, the notation that we used earlier, to answer some questions based upon this Venn diagram here. The first question being A, U, B dash. And what we said earlier, when you have a union, pause and think about the tick. So A union B dash means I can definitely have all of A. I can definitely have this one. I can have this one. Or B dash. Well, B dash means I can have everything that's not associated with B. Well, I can have that one. And that's what AUB dash means. If you look at the numbers that I've got 0.05, I've got 0.30, and I've got 0.55. And we add all of those ones up, you would get 0.90. So let me explain this one again, because this is one of the tricky one. When you have union, make sure you use the ticks. You tick all of A, or B dash, which means I can have anything outside B. Well, these two are, this one's already ticked, so I can tick this one. And then what you do, you then merge them together and add them up. Now we're going to go to our last question. Probability of A dash U B. It looks very similar to the question above. And you can see here that the dashes have now been replaced. So we're going to use the same concept as before. So what does this mean? Well, A dash means I can tick anywhere outside the A ring. Where in this case, it can only be there or there. But this or means I can also, that means in addition, I can have B. Well, by looking at this, the only tick that's not on B, that's in B, is that one there. If you look at these, I can have these three. So A dash UB means I can have anything outside A, which is 0.1 and 0.55. UB means in addition to that, I can bring in the 0.30. So I have 0.3, add 0.1, add 0.55, and when you work that out, you get 0.95. I really hope you enjoyed the video today on Venn diagrams. You can now draw diagrams based on set notation and calculate using the addition rule. See you in the next video.